Now on CoastTV News.
Affordable housing boost. State leaders and developers break ground on a Milford project that will rehab existing units and add new ones. Flooding focus. Mayors of Delmarva spotlight repeated hits to low-lying neighborhoods and push for faster federal protections. And Bolton bust. Former Trump advisor John Bolton hit with 18 federal charges over classified documents. How the case could play out for months.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A federal grand jury in Maryland indicted former National Security Advisor John Bolton today. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to our News at 11. Bolton, now the third critic of President Donald Trump to face criminal charges in recent weeks. And as NBC's Ryan Riley tells us, the indictment charges him with 8 counts of transmission of national defense information, also 10 counts of retention of national defense information.
Former Donald Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton was indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland on 18 charges relating to his use of classified information. According to the indictment, John Bolton was sending diaries to 2 individuals who might have been editors involved in his book that was later published after he left the office. He's long been an enemy of Donald Trump, and we've seen indictments involving 2 other Donald Trump political foes. But this indictment stands out from those other 2 because it actually predated Trump coming back to office. In a statement, we saw the Attorney General Pam Bondi say that there is one tier of justice for all Americans, and Donald Trump reacted almost immediately after the indictment came down. When asked by a reporter, he described John Bolton as a bad guy, but said he had not yet read the indictment. In a post on social media previously, though, he had publicly called for his Attorney General Pam Bondi to charge a number of his political foes. This will be a case that will play out over the coming months.
And that was NBC's Ryan Riley reporting. Now back here at home, affordable housing continues to be a challenge across Delaware, across Delmarva, but new funding could help change that. As CoastTV reporter Nicole Richter shows us, the Delaware State Housing Authority says a new project will create and preserve affordable units statewide.
In Milford, state leaders, developers, and community members gathered to celebrate the start of a new affordable housing project. Miss Spillian, Station 2.
The more housing we make affordable and high quality, the more places people have to live.
This project will rehab 32 existing units and create 16 new ones, part of a larger effort to expand housing options for Delaware families.
The substantial renovation just increases, as the governor talked about, the ability to, for our kids to have better housing, to do better in school.
The event also highlighted the 4 winning projects in the state's low-income housing tax credit program. These investments will create 105 new affordable units and preserve 116 existing units in Wilmington, Milford, Lewis, and Georgetown.
It's transforming lives for hundreds and hundreds of Delaware families, for thousands of Delawareans.
Together, the 4 projects represent $3.4 million in funding. And if you look behind me here, you can see that the work has already started. As rent prices continue to rise, state leaders say that investments like this one can help bring relief to dozens of families finding a place to call home. In Milford, I'm Nicole Richter, CoastTV News.
Meanwhile, in Georgetown, homelessness has been a big topic of conversation there, and now the Georgetown mayor and a town advocate are agreeing on why the town sees more homelessness compared to other places in Sussex County. Mayor Bill West and the founder of the Shepherd's Office say Georgetown naturally draws people in because of the services it offers, from courthouses to state health and social service offices. But Mayor West says not everyone is using those services as intended. He says some people are just staying in town and turning to drugs or alcohol. One professor we spoke with today thinks the issue goes beyond Georgetown. He says it starts at the top.
You're not going to have a perfect world, and when you don't have a perfect economy, because I'm a business professor, I can tell you right now, it's not going to change much. First, you got to go after the politicians and have them open up the purse.
And Mayor Bill West says the town is actively trying to send homeless people who aren't using services elsewhere out of Georgetown. The mayor says this issue has not been overlooked, but he did not explain exactly how those people are being moved from the town or how that's being decided. But this does bring us to our CoastTV poll, because we want to know if you've ever been harassed by a homeless person in Georgetown or really anywhere else. Looking at the results, 73% saying yes, 27% say no. You can still vote. It's not too late. Head to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. And new tonight on the same topic, Georgetown's Supportive Housing Committee met earlier tonight to discuss the best use of local housing resources. Coast TV photojournalist Matt Hipsman shows us how that meeting went.
The purpose of the committee is to kind of update where we are from the 2012 task force report, which was pretty comprehensive on the subject of transitional housing, supported housing in Georgetown.
We do have a lot of the recovery houses, the sober living houses, the pallet village, where people are provided the resources to get the help that they need. The issue is the people that aren't getting into those programs.
Well, what the continuum does, it lays out all of the options that should be available. So we're looking at, well, where do we have these options? Where don't we have these options? Where we don't have them, do we want them?
Well, the housing continuum graph is very specific in that it spells out from homelessness to shelters, into supportive housing, into social housing, into affordable rentals, affordable housing, and then into market value.
The really important role that we have is to inform people. It's a matter of providing clear information to people so that they can make an intelligent assessment of what's here.
Moving on now, at the Mayors of Delmarva Forum, flooding took center stage after the latest coastal storm. Chincoteague leaders say low-lying neighborhoods on the south side are taking repeated hits, and the town is pushing for federal attention to speed up long-planned protections.
Once the government gets back open and they get a few things on track, I intend to be that squeaky wheel that's going to keep on squeaking until we they either push us out the door or they give us what we need.
And Mayor Bowden says Chincoteague has permits and funding requests in for about 700 feet of new bulkhead, but she said federal uncertainty is slowing state dollars. She also said the goal is to move from paperwork to pilings before another nor'easter erodes more ground. Now we're going to take a live look into Lewis and turn things over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Good evening, Paul.
Well, right now we're very cool, we're very calm, and we're collecting that frosty feel that's going to be in the air, particularly for tomorrow morning. We might not quite get the frost, but it's going to feel like it ought to be there. Now, we're already at 52 degrees, and the temperature is continuing to drop, and we're going to drop into the 40s easily with no effort whatsoever, and we're going to drop into probably the lower 40s in some locations. Now, we're chilly overnight, all right? And then as we go into tomorrow and for the weekend, we're going to enjoy some sunshine, and the temperatures are going to start rising back to the norm, if not a little bit above the norm for this time of the year. So we got a really nice weekend to look forward to be quite honest. Now, we had concerns for winds because we have the active small craft advisory that's in effect until 6 o'clock Friday along the entire coast. That means we're bracing for 25-mile-per-hour winds on all sides of the peninsula. Coming up, we'll talk about your weekend weather, which you might want to stick around for because it's looking like pretty good news.
Thank you, Paul. New tonight, this wooden walkway on Surf Avenue in Rehoboth Beach is set to be replaced. City officials tell us concrete was considered for the replacement, but now the city is deciding to keep the classic wood design. They say that's after speaking with homeowners. The project is expected to cost about $18,000. It should be complete by the end of the year. The city says they're going to use the same boards as on the boardwalk. People in Milford can expect more than 4 months of road closure starting on October 27th. The city says Airport Road between Delaware Veterans Boulevard and Canterbury Road will be closed to all traffic starting at the end of the month until March 6th. It's for construction of a new roundabout there. Now to Ocean City, where the Riptide Pool Bar and Flagship Hotel could be closing its doors sooner than anyone expected. On March 19, 2024, site plans were approved to replace the entirety of the Flagship Hotel with a new hotel called Spring Hill Suites. Most people thought the Riptide Pool Bar would stay open for one more summer, but then this, a post on Facebook, Riptide saying they were blindsided and they found out that there is a possibility it would be their last day ever.
It's always been a local hangout, and it's always been a lot of fun with the ocean view and all the people.
We did try contacting Riptide today, but we got no response. And we are just getting started. There's still more news ahead, like putting out a fire to teach and connect the community. Hundreds of people see what it's like to be a firefighter firsthand in Lewis tonight. But first, in this week's Coastal Connections, we'll show you a Delaware teacher who is finding new ways to connect with students. And coming up, Paul Williams is in the CoastTV First Alert Weather Center. He has your full forecast in a bit.
Every teacher makes a difference, but some of them do find a way to break through, to really connect with their students. And in today's Coastal Connections, we take a look at one teacher, a new young fresh face in the education game, who's finding a way to stand out. Over at Sussex Central High School, something fun is happening.
That was so much better. I actually heard your voices that time.
Something loud and something animated. Thomas Oxborough is a Year 2 teacher. He's the choir director, the assistant marching band director, and he also works with the school's drum line. But it's the way he does it that's drawing attention.
1, 2, 3. It's really the energy of the kids. When I'm working with them and the music's just really sounding good, it feeds into my energy for the day.
With flailing arms and perfect tempo, Oxborough is connecting with his students.
You got it so close, you just rushed it a little bit. Making music is supposed to be fun. This is a class where we're learning all these different strategies and we're being academics, but we're also socializing. We're supposed to be having fun in the process. 1, 2, here we go.
Oxborough fostered his love of both music and education right here on Delmarva as a graduate of Indian River High School.
A lot of my past teachers, I really enjoyed a lot of the passion that they put into it, the musical experiences that I got to work in. Crash, crash, crash.
And now he's bringing his high-energy form of teaching to the next generation, along with a belief that what happens out on the field can translate into the classroom.
Music has a really strong power in doing so for everybody and keeping them focused throughout their other academics and their other daily lifestyles. So I really bring this energy into the music field here because of that.
Inevitably, some of the students that cross through Mr. Oxborough's classes will be inspired. Maybe they'll even pursue music after high school.
When they have a teacher that approaches them and shares a passion for music, it's almost infectious.
But most of them won't. Still, he feels like what students learn about music will help them in life.
It's a win.
33 to 39. Which is part of the reason Mr. Oxborough is such an advocate for music programs.
I only have this for one time. Protect the arts. Please protect the arts. Cherish the arts. Fund the arts.
A passion that bleeds through when he's with his students out on the field.
When I'm working with my drum line and they're just really in the groove, they're locked in the pocket, and I just find myself really grooving with it because my groove feeds off the energy with them. So now we're just going back and forth and we're gonna see where the energy takes us. Sky's the limit with it.
After all, isn't that what you want from your teachers?
I feel like I just get so encaptured in the music.
Genuine excitement and enthusiasm.
I'm really seeing the hard work y'all putting into it. I'm seeing y'all practice, so I'm really appreciating this right now.
Because between teaching, planning,
it's kind of what the drill will look like,
participating, and whatever this is, Thomas Oxborough has it.
beautiful clear skyline for right now, and it's going to open the door for plenty of sunshine, and we're going to warm up steadily after we get past a bit of a frosty start for Friday morning. We're at 55 degrees currently in Lewis, and we're going to fall into the 40s overnight pretty easily. And then when you factor in the winds, that combination of the temperatures dropping and the winds, yeah, it's going to feel frosty, even if we don't actually see frost. It's going to feel that way. So we have a small craft advisory that's active. We're looking for 25-mile-per-hour winds for Lewis Beach as well as Rehoboth down towards Ocean View. And this goes all the way down towards Ocean City, West Ocean City, and it goes all the way down towards Chincoteague. And so we're talking about 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but not just there, but also in Castle Haven, as well as Thomas, Madison, the Cambridge area. It's all going to stay breezy for us, particularly along 343 as you're going over some of the bridges there. Overall, we're still staying relatively quiet. Now, there's cold air that's in place for us, and it's just to our northwest. You see this blue that you see, this is actually dealing with frost, and the darker color is dealing with freezing, which is way over there in western Pennsylvania. However, it gives you a feel from a regional standpoint just how much cool air is kind of filtering its way down from Canada towards the northeast and the mid-Atlantic. So here's where we stand overnight. We're going to drop down to the mid to lower 40s. That's not quite frost level, but it's going to feel that way. I mean, when you think about frost forming, when we measure frost, when we actually do our measurements, we're about 5 feet off the ground anyway. But sometimes what happens, the cold air, as it sinks closer to the ground, away from our measurement, it's colder down here than up there. But I don't think we're going to drop down to 32 here tonight. But when that does happen, we have water molecules that are in the air that touches something, and then we have the crystallization that occurs. But you need some things to happen for frost, and that would be clear skies, which we have, light winds, which we're getting, but moisture in the air, that's debatable, but that's temperatures in the 30s with that moisture on the ground. That's what we don't have. So we're about 9 degrees below where we were just yesterday at this time. We're at 53 degrees in Bethany Beach, 49 in Georgetown, 48 in Delmarva, and 48 right now in Laurel. For Friday, look at these winds. They'll be howling at up to 24 miles per hour. See, the winds alone is going to keep it from frosting. So that's another thing. But it's just, because the winds are so cutting and out of the north, it's going to make it feel that way, okay? So don't be surprised about that feeling. Long sleeves tomorrow. I told you, if you don't pay any attention to anything else I'm showing you tonight, long sleeves tomorrow and sunglasses because you're going to have a lot of sun, okay? And our rain chances will stay diminished until we get to like Monday. But overall, that's when that slice of rain will push on through, and it'll push through pretty quickly. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Watch out for that rain on Monday.
All right, long sleeve sunglasses. Got it. Thank you, Paul. Well, investigations are underway after apparent hackers took over the PA systems at 4 North American airports today. As Lee Waldman reports, the hacks disrupted operations, broadcasting unauthorized pro-Palestinian political messages praising Hamas. Hackers took over the public broadcast systems and terminals at 4 airports in North America Tuesday.
Hacked by Cyber Islam, Netanyahu and Trump. Turkish hacker Cyber Islam.
In this video posted on social media at the Harrisburg International Airport in Pennsylvania, you can hear an automated voice saying "Free Palestine," followed by profanity directed at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump. Cybersecurity expert Chase Cunningham says the incident wasn't surprising because the systems are poorly configured.
It's a great way if you're an adversarial group to get your message out and scare people. That's basically what they did.
Police are investigating the Pennsylvania incident. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy posted on social media that the FAA is working to help get to the bottom of this hack, calling it unacceptable. Similar hacker broadcasts were recorded at 3 airports in Canada.
Typically, the fixes for these are relatively simple, but unfortunately, most of these organizations ignore the basics of blocking and tackling in cyber, and they go after the new shiny, cool AI-powered solution.
The breaches come amidst an onslaught of cyber attacks on the air travel industry that have caused disruptions for customers and forced some of the world's largest airports to a halt.
It scares me a lot because I know how these systems work and the connections that are there, and it's just a matter of time before things are going to cause potentially life-impacting changes.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman. Legendary rock legend Ace Frehley, the original guitarist for Kiss, has died. He was 74 years old, and Freely's family says he passed away Thursday in New Jersey following a recent fall at his home. Freely co-founded KISS in 1973. He then left the group in the early 1980s, but in 2014 he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with KISS. Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about some reverse relief, why this man turning his prosthetic feet backwards made a big difference, and how the discovery could help others too.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Fertility treatments could soon cost less under a new federal initiative. Thursday, the White House announced 3 common in vitro fertilization drugs could be sold at discounts of more than 70%. It's through a government-backed website. It's going to launch next year. The plan also includes incentives for drug makers to expand production here in the United States. An athlete who had both of his legs amputated is finding a new way to make the most of his prosthetics. Ross Holland's idea, it challenges traditional prosthetic design, and reporter Brianna Ross shows us it's been life-changing.
It's not every day that you see someone walking with the foot on their prosthetic leg facing backwards, but this is a reality for Ross Holland.
It's so much more comfortable. It's so much easier.
Holland has been wearing prosthetic legs since he was 3 years old after a lawnmower accident caused him to be a double amputee. He says finding prosthetics with the perfect fit was an uphill battle.
To stay up in legs, I needed the fit to be exactly right. I needed the padding to be right. Any disruption would make it difficult to stay in the legs. I spent a lot of time in the wheelchair.
Until he tried something different, turning the feet on his prosthetic legs backwards while experimenting with obstacles and climbing at his gym.
The balance was a lot easier to physically easy, less energy to use and just do basic things. For the last 3.5 years now, I haven't used the wheelchair at all.
Holland did not want to keep this discovery to himself. He shared it with his prosthetist and then with Dr. Scott E. Brown and his team in the ABLE Research Division of the Rehabilitation Institute at Sinai Hospital. They did a first-of-its-kind study to figure out why turning the prosthetic leg around backwards was more effective for Holland.
It enabled him to have better posture and better placement of his center of gravity, enabled him to use his muscles more efficiently. We think we're at the very sort of beginning phase of being able to promote this notion for other patients.
And that's exactly what Holland wants, for his idea to try something different to make life easier for other amputees too.
I'm still pinching myself in the morning when I wake up, because the very first thing I do is put my legs on, and then I have a 16-hour day, and the very last thing I do is take my legs off before I shower and go to bed. And to help any other amputee have that experience would mean I have won everything.
Get ready for another week of the NFL regular season. We have your Sunday night football right here on Coast TV, and this week you can catch the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. and stay right here for Coast TV News following the game.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
What's going on, sports fans? We have must-watch action on the field tonight, from boys soccer to Thursday night football and more.
Boys soccer, Caesar Rodney and Cape Henlopen. Riders corner kick opportunity. It goes across the field. The header from Allison Hodgking goes in. CR up 1-0. But here comes Cape, exchanging headers for goals, and it's in. Brenner Shore ties this game up at 1. Second half now. Cape Henlopen on the crosser and in. Lawson Whaley puts his team up a goal. Caesar Rodney not going down quietly. We are tied at 2. This game coming down to the wire. And here we go. Under 2 minutes left in regulation at Legend Stadium. The Vikings at home. Check this out. Keeper on the free kick. Austin Tyndall heads it in. Cape Henlopen hands Caesar Rodney their first loss in a month, coming out on top 3-2. Vikings victorious. And undefeated no more. Ken Island late in the 4th. Liam Allen to Jackson Hess. Spencer Chapel with the extra point. It's up, it's in. Buccaneers come out on top 24 to 23 at Hands Y High, their first loss of the year.
That'll for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Now here's a live look into Ocean City, and we'll have one more check on your forecast after this. Hundreds of families attended the annual Lewis Fire Department open house Thursday night. Children there got to try on some fire gear and see how the firefighters do it. They also got to get on some fire trucks and see firefighters cut open a car, plus a live fire demonstration. There was firefighting, crafts, and face painting. The Lewis Fire Department says the goal is to show people what they do and inspire the next generation of firefighters.
All right, so in Salisbury right now we're at 49 degrees actually, and we'll drop to 45 as early as 3 o'clock. Now we do have very gusty winds, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour winds because of the small craft advisories that are active throughout the area. Leslie Logsdon of Milton, congratulations, you are our umbrella winner. And by the way, you keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. So we're going to drop down to 43 degrees. Well, tomorrow morning, we're going to drop down to 43 degrees. Even though I've been saying frost, I'm saying we're going to feel like frost, but not necessarily see frost. And if you happen to see frost, well, lucky you. But it's going to feel like it for everybody.
Okay, well, if I see any frost, I'll call you and let you know.
Yeah, feel free to call me around lunchtime, though.
Okay.
I'll be asleep.
Me too. Okay, thank you, Paul, as always, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can find more news and more weather. Just download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. Have a great night.